I'm Bill Bedsole with Fibrenew Palatine in the Chicagoland area. We're going to be getting out on the road today to show you what a typical day at Fibrenew is like, if there is a typical day. We'll have 4 or 5 stops and show you what it's like.
And I'm Aaron from Fibrenew Palatine Technician.
So now I'm in my 6th year, and when I first came home from training, I did what Chad and the guys in training taught me to do and went to car lots. And I found one car lot on my first day, and they had 2 cars for me, and I spent the entire day fixing 2 cars. And but I told them I'll be back the next day or the next week, and I was there for a couple of weeks doing jobs, and finally, eventually, some furniture work started flowing in, and I started moving into the furniture market, and pretty heavily into the furniture market, and then started moving into more commercial markets in restaurants, doctor's tables, PT tables, gyms. And at that point, I realized that I could not continue to grow my business. I needed to have more help out in the field if I was going to grow. Otherwise, I was maxed out to where the most I could do. And now Aaron is sitting behind me. He picked up on things quickly. He's conscientious. He shows up on time. And I'm not just saying this because he's sitting behind me. We're at the Wooddale Park District today. We're going to be recovering some pads for their gym equipment. We're going to do it on site here, set up outside to enjoy the beautiful weather. So all this fits in the truck on a normal day. Got a couple tables, so I'll be working over here. Aaron will be working over here.
Bit of a long story on how I got to here, but I started out working in retail like a lot of people have, just working a grocery store. Wasn't really crazy about it, but it was pretty much the only thing I could do starting out of high school, of course. And so kept with a grocery store through starting in college. Thought I would go to college, become an engineer. Took my first engineering class and I absolutely hated it. So immediately kind of threw me into a spot in life where I was like, well, don't know what I'm going to do for my career or for the rest of my life now, and college isn't really that worth it if I'm going to sack money away to something I don't know if I'm going to use a degree for, so might as well just go off and do my own thing for a while. Spent kind of a year trying to find something else to do, and then the next 2 after that working in retail at a hardware store before just kind of deciding, okay, I'm really sick of retail, don't really want to go back to college, so I guess my next option is heading into the trades. And so spent a little bit of time looking into carpentry and becoming an electrician, becoming a plumber. Didn't really feel distinctly drawn to anything in particular, and then just ended up kind of falling into this through a stroke of luck or divine guidance.
And now you have the best job you've ever had, right?
Yes, that is true. Right. Now I have the best job I've ever had.
Having a tech has been great. Besides getting the work done quicker, when we go on vacation, like when we went to Indy last year or when we go to Disney World later on this year in November, we're going to make money when I'm not working the business. And that's not a luxury I had prior to having a technician who I could trust to go out and do the jobs for me. So when we go on vacation, I set up jobs for Aaron to work, sometimes in the shop, sometimes out at customers. But it's a good mix of jobs that I can trust him to finish while we're gone and for the customers to be satisfied when he's done. And it keeps the business moving forward. I don't get buried while I'm gone, and we continue to have revenue rolling in. We're wrapping up at the Wooddale Park District. We recovered 6 pads for them today using Spirit Millennium Blue, pulled and stretched. And we got here at 9. It's 10:30. We're packing up and heading to the next job. We're on our way to go do an estimate for some PT tables for a new hospital account that I've just started doing work for. We're going to do an inspection to see if the tables are repairable or if they need to be recovered. I have a feeling it's going to be a mix of both, and we'll get them a quote and hopefully land the job. I will do the same price for repairing it. The gray 4-piece one, this one, So I'm going to give you a price to repair as well. Hey, so we're just leaving Northwest Community Hospital's storage facility where there's oodles and oodles of vinyl that needs to be repaired. We looked at 5 tables that are in various states of needing to be repaired or recovered. I think we're going to be quoting options of both for them. I live in Jobber. I do my invoicing through there. I get my quotes. I do all of my scheduling. Nothing that comes into me, even if it comes out from a text from a customer or an email from a customer, it all goes into Jobber so that I only have one place that I have to manage my business through. Well, I got an email notification, jumped straight into Jobber to see the details. Timothy here has 2 leather couches that he needs some restuffing done, maybe a clean and protect, so I'll send him a quote directly through Jobber. And because Jobber follows up on quotes for me, if I don't hear from him back, I'll get another follow-up from him 2 days later, and hopefully we'll be able to close that deal. If I don't hear from him, I'll reach out to him to ask if he has any questions. And then now it's time to go to our next job anyways, so we're going to go head out and do resew a separated seam for Sudar. So I'm just going to send a quick text to let him know through Jobber that we're on our way and we'll arrive in 30 minutes. So we've got 4 panels that have come unsewn here. And so what we're going to do is hand sew it. We'll take these 2 inside panels together and sew them back together. And then we're going to sew these 2 back together like this. And hopefully catch the underside as we're doing it to continue the natural seam of the sofa.
Some of my most enjoyed parts of working for Fibrenew Palatine and Bill is mostly it's very satisfying to hit a color spot on and see a satisfied customer at the end of the day. And I've always had fun pulling stuff apart and putting stuff back together. And doesn't feel like the work is, not to say meaningless, but as menial as retail and other corporations. It feels like there's a real purpose to what you're doing.
So there we have it. Resewn seam for the customer on site, $275. We've been here for 45 minutes or so, and that'll last them longer than the rest of the sofa will. So now that we've closed out with the customer, we're going to send her invoice. She asked for it via text rather than email. So after we've closed the job in Jobber, we can just generate the invoice, collect payment, mark it as paid. We're going to text her the receipt that shows she has a balance of 0. And there we go. So one of the most satisfying things about Fibrenew for me is that when a job is done, it's done. You know, I get the check, they get their invoice, I'm out the door, and I'm not going to see that customer again unless they break something else. You know, 95% of the time, I'm not going back to them until they've worn out their sofa again or they decide they want to get their car fixed. And that is so night and day different from being in a corporate environment where I was managing annual marketing programs, and as soon as it launched, starting over again and everything, it just was a never-ending cycle of doing the same thing, where every day with Fibrenew is different, every job with Fibrenew is different, and when the job is done, the job's done. And then I go do something else, and it might still be dyeing another cushion, but it's not going to be the same color. It's not. There's always something that's a little bit different on every job, so that there's variety, and and having a start and end is just so satisfying. So we are at the lab for Northwest Community Hospital, and we're going to be doing a repair on this chair for the crack in the vinyl here. We're going to take it out to the truck, get it repaired, and bring it right back to them. We should be done in less than an hour. All the colors we match, especially for something like this where we'll be back multiple times to do work for this customer, we do in the Color Eye app, so that as we get the recipe, we track every adjustment we make to the recipe. So we just added 0.2 more black, so we're at 0.56. And as we're doing this, we're going to have a permanent recipe. So when we come back and do more work for the customer in the future, the color, we'll have the color. We won't have to, come up with it from scratch again next time, and we'll be able to recreate it over and over again. And I can still tweak the color if after I get it on here I don't like it because I'm still working in small amounts. We got here just under an hour ago. We did the color cure repair to this area here, and then feathered our color back to about the middle of the chair because the customer was concerned about denim dye staining that we couldn't get off even with strong remover. So we did feather the color out on the repair, finished it with vinyl spot top coat. We're gonna charge $250, and we'll be back again to fix something else soon, hopefully.
Our chair looks spiffy.
Dave & Buster's in Main Event is one of my biggest customers. Fibrenew has a corporate relationship with them, and the location behind us haven't been up here for about a month and a half, so we're going to go in and see if they've got any booths that need to be repaired or recovered or any of the game seats that might need some work. We're back at the shop, so come on in, I'll show you what's going on here. So over here we've got all of our jobs that are in some level of progress. This bench is going to get recovered with new covers we made. Sofas that are going to get some panel replacements, so Aaron will be making the leather for that before it goes to the upholsterer. They'll sew it in, and then if we have to tweak the color at all when it comes back, we will. Otherwise, we'll just go and install it at the customer's house. But right now, there's 8 or 10 jobs sitting here, and to keep track of them all, we've got our whiteboard. And so this is, I guess there's 20 open jobs total right now. And the way we track is customer name, what we're doing, where we are in the process of the job, and then the price for the job. When I went through my whiteboard, we've got several jobs that are out with upholsterers right now. And I've got a relationship with 2 that I am actively working with, but 4 or 5, maybe 6 maybe actually, that I can send work to. You know, I try and stick with the ones that I'm using the most so that I always know where the jobs are and I don't have to go all over creation to get them. But having a good upholsterer who can work with you and give you decent pricing and have a quick turnaround time really aids in doing the big furniture jobs. I don't sew furniture. It's expensive. There's a lot more to it than I am capable of doing, or willing to learn, I guess is a better way to say it. So having them is a great resource, and I know sometimes it can be hard to find them, but it's worth looking for them. So it's been a great day out on the road, just like every other day is with Fibrenew. We recovered some gym equipment. We did an inspection on the PT benches and tables for the hospital. We did an inspection at Dave & Buster's after lunch. We resewed a separated seam on a leather sofa and fixed the lab chair for the hospital also. And all in a normal day for Fibrenew, and we were home by 4:30. Doesn't get better than that.